It's so angry. This is on Instagram, the bottom left. Xerxes.
Should always just have all the rocks up here. This is such